Right, so here at the end of the syllabus, we're going to take a look at the tentative class schedule. I have an asterisk and bolded sentence here at the top. All work is due on the due date shown by 11:59 p.m. There will be no late work accepted. So the way that I have this table set up is on the left-hand side, the left column, I have the week. And I can scroll here, you can see we go up through our 16 weeks of the semester, including the final week there. Then we have the chapters that we will be covering that week, so you can know ahead of time what if you need to start working ahead for whatever reason, you can start moving into that next chapter if you need to, so you know what it is that's expected each week. The next column is our weekly homework and lab due date. So these are the Thursdays of each week is when you need to submit your homework assignment that you're completing and your lab assignment that you're completing by Thursday. And again, that asterisk at the top stated 11:59 p.m. on that Thursday, and those are the dates of the Thursdays of each week. And then the next column is the weekly lecture notes, quiz, and peer reviews due date. And then those weeks that have exams, the exam due date as well. And these are all on Sunday. So if we look at week one is our course introduction materials and assignments. So I have all of the assignments, so the lecture notes, the homework, the lab assignment, the quizzes, all and the peer reviews for each of those things, all in the first week as well. So this is kind of like our trial week with the course introduction materials and assignments. So the first two things are going to be due by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. That is the homework and the lab. So you need to complete both the homework and the lab by Thursday and submit it. And then the rest of the assignments are due by Sunday. So that would be the peer reviews for both the homework and the lab, because recall, you need to peer review another student's homework and lab. The lecture notes, the practice quiz, and then not in week one, obviously, but in other weeks, that's when we'll have the exam due as well. So that does not mean, of course, that you need to wait until after Thursday to start working on the lecture notes or to start taking the quiz. That does mean that you have to start doing the peer reviews after Thursday, because those will not be open and available to you until after Thursday. So again, if we look through the weeks here, week 2, we're doing chapter 1 and 2. Week 3, we're doing 3.3 and 4.1. Week 4, we have exam 1, as well as chapter 4.2 and 6. So I have exam 1 here first, and that's because exam 1 covers chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4.1. And that will be clear to you in Canvas. So it covers all of that in exam 1. Then we will approach chapter 4.2 and 6, and then move on from there. And then, for example, exam 2 in week 7 there is going to cover everything from exam 1, meaning after exam 1. So exam 2 will cover chapter 4.2, 6, chapters 4.3, 4.4, 7.5, and chapter 8. Okay, so the exams are not really cumulative. Of course, there could be some overlap just because of the material, but it's going to cover whatever comes after the previous exam up until that exam. And then after exam 2, you would focus on 4.5, 4.6, chapter 9, etc. That said, I give you that whole week to complete that exam. So the reason I have it written on this schedule is because let's say a perfect world, you have all of the time in the world every week to work on this. I would suggest on Monday, you would take exam 1 of week 4. So you would take that on Monday so that you have already studied in weeks 2 and 3, chapters 1 through 4.1, and then you take exam 1 on Monday, and then you start working on the next chunk of material. I know that it's not a perfect world, and maybe you don't have time to complete the exam until Saturday. So you still have to get your 4.2 and chapter 6 homework and lab due by Thursday, but you can take the exam after that. It won't cover those chapters, but you can take your exam after that point. So I set it up this way to give leeway, because I know some people work during the week, some work on the weekends, some work nights, some work days, and I wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to access these things, while also making sure that everybody turned something in earlier in the week so we would have time to do the peer reviews. So please just make note that every Thursday and Sunday is when you have things due. I do suggest, I did put the lecture notes as due on Sunday. Again, that's literally just to give you all week to work on them based on, different schedules. However, what I would suggest is that earlier in the week you do your notes, then approach your homework and your lab, and then you can turn in the lecture notes later. The intention is really not for you to do the homework in the lab before you even do the lectures. I just made it to where the lecture notes are due later just to give you more time to maybe refine them or something. So how I would approach it, again, in a perfect world, to get the best learning possible, is I would approach it to where I would go in and watch all of the lectures during the first day or two. So I would go in and I would watch the lectures, and at this point I wouldn't be taking notes. I would just be watching the lectures just to gain the information and have exposure to the information. Maybe a couple of notes here and there or something, but mostly just to listen to the information. Then I would approach the homework and the lab, and then I would start working on the homework, working on the lab, referencing my text in order to answer questions that maybe I don't remember, referencing the lectures again, going through and watching different chunks of them again to make sure that I'm answering the homework in the lab appropriately, and then I would submit that on Thursday or prior to Thursday. Then I would go back in and I would watch the lectures again and complete the lecture notes at that time, or complete them at any time during that first chunk of the week. My point is that you don't have to focus on completing the lecture notes prior to Thursday. So then I would work on the lecture notes, then I would take the quiz, because at this point I've exposed myself multiple times to the material in different ways. And then, of course, I would complete the peer reviews that are due by Sunday. So that's how, in a perfect world, I would approach it. And again, the homework and the lab are not meant to be approached before you approach the material in the lectures, okay? It's just I wanted to give you enough time to be able to complete things throughout the entire week rather than sticking the lecture notes in with Thursday, which they really probably should be done before Thursday. I wanted to give you that extra time. So please keep that in mind. So then as we're moving through here, we have all of our Thursday dates here when all of these homework and lab assignments are due, all of our Sunday dates for each week there, telling you that that's when the other things are due. Then note that we have our Thanksgiving breakdown here. Then we approach chapter 17 and 18. Those dates are there. And then week 16, the very last week of the semester, which is typically called the finals week, is when you have both exam 5 and the end of semester quiz due. Please note, this is in bold here, that first of all, you don't have anything due Thursday, which is this first column. Second, you do have things due the last day of that week, which is a Friday and not a Sunday. And that is due specifically because the semester technically ends on Friday, not on Sunday. So please know this. If you're scheduling for whatever you need to do for the next semester, make sure that you understand that week 16 you have exam 5 due, which exam 5 would cover chapter 18, 17, and 16, because it comes after exam 4. So 16, 17, 18 is part of exam 5. And then recall that the end of semester quiz covers everything in the semester. And remember that that is a quiz format, which means you can take it multiple times. Okay. So both exam 5 and the end of semester quiz are then due by Friday at 11:59 p.m. because that is the end of the semester and there is no late assignment. So you cannot take until Sunday. So please schedule your work and your personal life to accommodate for 2 exams. And the end of semester quiz is going to be quite long, 2 exams to complete by that Friday.